Hi, I'm Italia Oliver. Welcome. If it's your first time to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification to be notified of the latest videos. Today, I'm bringing you part 3 of the Andromeda interviews, my first channeled audio I did with Morenae. If you haven't listened to parts 1 and 2, I encourage you to do so. We cover a wide array of topics with Morenae about life and society on Andromeda, his ancestry, the arts, education, relationships, and much more. I hope you've enjoyed everything that Morenae has shared, and thank you so much for all of the likes and comments. I truly appreciate it. Now, in part 3, things get a bit more philosophical with Morenae. We go deep into the subject of health and healing, which seems pretty relatable right now as the world endures this COVID-19 pandemic. Morenae's words regarding how we can overcome human illness are truly profound and definitely inspiring. He also shares wisdom about how to raise your vibration, the importance of learning to love yourself and ways that one can do that, crystal healing, nutrition, exercise, and sleeping habits of the fifth dimensional being, the concept of money on his planet. Hint, there is none. And we close out the interview with a discussion about what we can learn most from Andromedan culture. Now, here's part 3. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, Morenae. Thank you for coming back to visit us. We appreciate it. How would you advise those humans who have physical ailments to maintain a sense of spiritual happiness or contentment when they're faced with traumas of the physical sort?
Yeah. Traumas of the physical sort are difficult to deal with, so are traumas to the soul. I would say that the word that comes to me first would be to find joy in your circumstance, that things are not always as they appear to be. There are many reasons why the illness has taken hold over the body or the mind or the spirit. It is actually all oneness in that. And so it is important to remember that there's many reasons that occur for this to have happened. And so I would say to people who need strength in healing to have hope, but to focus on joy in the heart, to focus on those things that brought them joy in the past and bring them joy in the present, and to surround themselves with those things because they resonate at a higher frequency. And when you are healing, it is important to keep your frequency high so that you do not fall back into lower frequencies, which make healing thus harder. It is important to keep your spirits high in that sense, because your frequency will then be higher because of that, the way you feel and the way you think during your illness. Illness is not a punishment. Illness is the body speaking to you. It is your mind, it is your spirit speaking to you all together. But I must be careful here. There is no blame in illness. Illness is something that happens because of the dis-ease on your planet, and it is something that is just part of your human's existence in your three-dimensional plane. And you, because of the frequency you are on, these densities make it so. So that is why the illnesses
are on your planet, because you are not light beings. You are not at that level. You are still in the density of physical form, where particles and DNA, all of that matter.
Do you think the power of positive thinking can help eliminate disease in a human's body?
Mm, it is helpful, but it is not the only thing that can help. I am not speaking of just positive thinking. I am speaking of when I say to choose joy, I am talking about changing your frequency of the way that you feel, the vibration in which you exist. Part of it is thinking, the way, your mental capacity, your way to think something. Yes, that is part of it. You may have heard, they call it self-fulfilling prophecy on your planet. But it is something where it is more than just positive thinking. Although it is helpful in raising your frequency, it is not the whole. And we need to look at the whole being in order to attain the balance that is needed. And so I am talking about something even greater, which is the change in your frequency, the way in which you vibrate in your feeling in your body. Are you at home? And so I speak to that, and I speak to that which will help in healing. Now, healing does not always mean death. That death actually is a form of healing of the body. So it does not always eliminate or eradicate disease. But when I say joy, I mean the lightness of being, the spirit in its highest frequency of love and joy, because that is feeling the aliveness of your body in oneness with your spirit. And so positive thinking is part of it, but it is not the whole thing. There are times where you think a negative thought, but it is important to turn that around quickly, because I don't want to espouse positive thinking as the way to go, as the only way to go, because positive thinking is just one way. And I do not want to create fear around not positive thinking. So if you are not positive thinking, I do not want to cause fear in the human mind, because then the fear creates a negative frequency. So it is important to just be, and when you are conscious of your thoughts, then positive thinking, focus on your positive thoughts, because that is where the energy will go. It will follow your thoughts. So you must think in a positive way for the most part, but do not put these conditions around it, because otherwise you are going to create fear. And fear, as we know, is a low frequency, and fear is destructive and will not help you in your healing. Did I make myself clear, or do you need more explanation?
If you could explain a little bit more and maybe go into how the Earth human can raise their vibration.
The Earth human, there are many paths to increasing the vibration of the human. The first and essential thing is to feel the love for yourself, because if you do not, then your vibration will not raise. You can do small things here or there, but it will not attain to the highest level that it can, its potential. And so I believe that, I think that that would be, is essential first. Because if you do not do that, then love is the creation point. So if you do not do that, then everything else does not matter. But I would begin there with the focus on the you, and focusing on you loving yourself. that is where positive thinking can come in and be beneficial to the soul, to help it further its growth by focusing on the positive or what they appreciate in themselves. But I would start at that place of love, and then I would move to after doing the things that you do to love yourself, I would focus on your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions. It is an integration of all of these things, but love is the overriding factor. So I cannot stress it enough that love is what will help you to raise your vibration, to help you see that you are not alone and that you are connected to the all that is. Is that helpful, or do you need more?
Yes, that's very helpful, but let's take it a step further if we can. What would you say to a child who comes from a family that doesn't give that child love and they don't know how to love themselves at a young age? How would you advise somebody in that situation to be able to raise their vibration if they're not surrounded by a loving family or social support system?
This is indeed a problem on your planet, for there are many people who do not love themselves, and even those who come from loving homes sometimes suffer from what you call low self-esteem or non-love for themselves, and so which is caused by the environment, the world around them. So I would say to the person who is having trouble, that does not know how to love themselves, is to begin in one spot, whether that is working on their body awareness, that they are grounded, because some people suffer trauma and they don't know how to get past their trauma. They keep reliving their trauma over and over and over again. And much of that is because they are not grounded in reality. They're not here. They might be walking, but they are like ghosts that they just walk in a fog, as you'd say. So I might start with either entry point. So if you think about analogy here, might be like a maze. There might be different sort of entry points, but which point do you going to enter? So it depends on the person. Perhaps you are going to begin healing and loving yourself through your body awareness and taking care of your body through exercise or movement or massage or different ways of getting in touch with your body awareness. You may also start with the mind, where you begin to positively think, as you say, or to affirm or to reframe your story. That is very crucial, to reframe your story and not be the victim. When you realize you are no longer the victim, you become to a change point in your life where you can now move forward. So your mind is another entry point. Your emotions are another entry point. When you begin to feel love in your heart, and you begin to look at yourself or look in the mirror at your own self and begin to feel appreciation and gratitude for who you are and where you've come from and how far you've come, that is important. And I would also say spirituality. Spirit is another entry point, where you can talk to the Creator, the all that is, and begin talking, begin to dialogue. Whether you talk in your mind or you talk out loud, that is your maybe lifeline, faith line, and that will be some ways in which to help you to learn to love yourself, to take care of yourself, by the affirmations, by spending time alone with yourself. Your planet is troubled by too many distractions, and so because of that, there is not lots of time that people spend by themselves to think for themselves. Many are afraid of what they will find, the truth, because that might mean they might change jobs or relationships. And so that is why. So it is important to spend time with yourself. That is another entry point. Another entry point is to treat yourself. Start by taking time to maybe give yourself a gift or something, and start to really love yourself in that way. And also starting to help others is another entry point to help you love yourself. When you are in service to others and you start spreading love to others, that is another entry point. So there are many vast numbers of entry points to learn to love yourself. You just have to begin at one point, but it is a combination of all of these together that will bring you the love to yourself. It is not one thing, one right way, one path. There are many paths in this lifetime for you to learn the lesson of loving yourself, because that is why you are here, to love yourself and to love others. That is all.
What do you think is the most powerful way to show love to somebody else?
The most powerful way to show love to someone else is your presence. And by presence, I don't mean that you sit and just watch TV. That is not presence. Presence is you are fully aware of the other person. You are looking them in the eye. You are with them. You are listening. You are giving your attention to the person that is in front of you. You see that person, the spark of God, as you say on your planet. You see the spark of God in the other person. You realize that you are one with this person. They are not just the cashier at the store or the milkman or the guy putting the soda cans in the grocery store. You realize that we are all one. How many times do we pass other people and we you just pass and not give them a second thought? When we look at each other in that way with presence, that is what will make all the difference.
That's really great stuff. Thank you for sharing. Could you just expand on the concept of healing a little bit more in terms of how your mindset can help you overcome physical ailments?
Well, I must be careful here in regards to mindset healing physical ailments. It is part and parcel of it. The mind is very keen. The mind is very prudent. The mind is very important, I'd say, in healing, but it is not the end all be all, because what matters in your mindset is that you believe that you can heal. So the brain thinks one way, but the mind and the body and the spirit are really one. We segregate that in your world because that is the way you can understand it. But really, the mechanics is that they all work in tandem together. And so because they work in tandem together, it is a synergistic effect. That's why I say with healing, you have multiple entry points that you can begin, but it is the combination of these things, the integration, that can help bring balance to the individual. When you said mindset, part of it is, yes, you can think, oh, I will get better, but do you believe you will get better? Now, that is the important thing. Do you feel that in your heart? Because your belief about your healing matters.
Can you talk a little bit about how the shamans in the Native American times of our world dealt with this subject of healing?
The indigenous peoples of your world understood the balance of the mind, body, spirit, the emotions all together. They understood that it was a delicate balance. And so when someone was in disharmony, there would be a ceremony that addressed all facets of the being in who was diseased. And so it is important that you know that the indigenous peoples understood what balance was of the body, mind, spirit. Your medical community in the West, although it is very good at what it does not integrate those other aspects which are essential to the whole balance of the human being. Because if you do not address the cause of the illness will not disappear. And sometimes, not all times, sometimes the illness will be caused in the etheric or spirit body or your auric field. That is where it will be the cause, because you are holding on to things that no longer serve you. And so sometimes that is it. Sometimes there is something in one's DNA that may come up that might not have come up depending on maybe their environment. So there are many factors, but the indigenous peoples, they understood the balance of integration of the whole human for balance.
In terms of finding tools to help with healing, we've learned a lot about crystals. Do you believe that crystals can really help people with their physical ailments?
Crystals are interesting. Much to do with crystals is about your beliefs about crystals. So just like anything, if you believe something, it has more power because your belief is giving it the energy, the frequency in order to do its job. And so your true belief about it is what can. There are some crystals that are very powerful. There are others that are weak, depending on how they were mined and brought out into the world. There are some crystals, when people wear them, are quite strong. And then there are others that are weak. Their energy is dull. So I would be cautious with crystals only because you want a high energy crystal to help you with your healing along with your beliefs about crystal healing.
Is there a specific crystal that you'd recommend people find in order to help bring about this harmonious nature?
Quartz is a overall good crystal to bring about balance and to help raise vibration for people. It is a clear crystal, which is the white light, representative of the white light. And the white light, like you know on your planet, is the Christ consciousness. The white light also symbolizes the creator, the source, the all that is. And so the white light is protective. the white light, the clarity of the quartz is transmutes energy, changes its form, and helps to bring about healing or less disease or less illness. So I would say quartz is a good one. Amethyst is also good, but I would recommend quartz overall, although there are many others.
Thank you. That's great knowledge to have. Are there any other modes of healing that you'd also recommend for those who are suffering from, let's say, chronic disease like my father, he has multiple sclerosis, or diseases of that nature that are just chronic and neurological?
Yes, I would say diseases that are chronic, they are due to inflammatory responses within the body. And so because there are those who have these inflammatory responses in the body, nutrition is very important. It is crucial. I sense your dad does not eat well, yes?
No, he does not. You're right.
I would say that if he ate better, it would not heal per se the physical, but it would heal, yes, in the sense that it would bring about cellular changes in the body. It does matter what you eat and what you put into your body, because on the cellular level, your cells take in your food, your sustenance. Why we as fifth dimensional beings, we do not need the type of food sustenance. The more lighter you become, the less you need, because your body doesn't need that heaviness. And so it is important, I would say, nutrition is important to people who have chronic inflammatory disease, as well as movement of muscle. So if the person cannot walk, yet massage or things like that where they can move their body, physical therapy, just in some way to help them to mobilize their body and getting it moving, because inside the body is stagnant energy, and stagnant energy will not produce the healing that is needed. So that would be something that is also helpful, and also to the mindset, the beliefs that these things can indeed help the healing for the individual.
Going back to the type of food on your planet, I think you've told us what it was before, like mainly a green algae-like substance?
Yes, I said plants.
Plants.
Yes, algae-like that you would not find good here.
How much do you have to eat a day or a week in your form?
Not much. We do not need much to keep us floating. We do not need much. We are energy beings, so what we need is really little to nothing, really. So it is quite different on your planet. And the lighter you are, the less you need.
Where's this plant material mined on your planet? Where do you get it?
It is in our oceans.
Then do you just go down and dive and get it and eat it?
I do not. I do not.
Who does that on your planet? Who provides the food?
Oh, well, we have people who like to do that, so they go do that. And we do have markets as well on our planet where people sell their goods and such, but I do not do that, no. But there are people who that will do that for us.
If there's no money on your planet, what is exchanged for the food?
Sometimes there is no exchange. Most of the time, we just, it doesn't have to be, how can I say? On your planet, there's this concept of you give me this, I give you that. You give me this, I give you that. That is not always the case. Maybe he gives me this food, and maybe not at that moment, but maybe in your timeline, I guess, maybe a month later, I help him back. So it's more of a being of service, being of help to each other. But we do not, yes, have money. We do not do that. No.
What about water and hydration for your physical or your spiritual body? Do you need that?
No, we do not need that.
So you subsist entirely on this algae-like plant, correct?
Yes.
Is there any kind of sweet or dessert that you have in your world?
No, there does not have such thing exist on our planet. That makes me laugh though, because I'm showing Italia a donut. I know she likes donuts.
Yes.
But they no, we do not need that sugar. We do not even have sugar on our planet, so it does not exist. It is beyond us. No, I mean to say, correction. We are beyond it. We do not need that in our body. So we do not have that. We only have that which gives us sustenance. Sugar does not give us sustenance. And I might add to you not to have as much sugar as you do. It is not good for you.
Do you have any other things in your planet that you think that we could do here that would help improve our health? You mentioned exercise. Do you exercise there?
We don't really have need for that, being most of the time light bodies. But it is good to get out and move, as you say. We do have expression, though, here, dance and such, sports. That is important, too. But on your planet, nutrition is very important. So you do not eat lots of processed foods with chemicals in it. It is not good for you. To raise vibration, you do need to eat that of the earth. So if you eat that of the earth that was made by the creator of all, that is the sustenance that you need. That will also help you as you you are working on trying to raise your vibration, yes?
Yes, I am.
Well, that would be something that you should begin. Well, I cannot tell you should, but it is a suggestion. You have free will. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But just, I have to be careful with my words. Suggestion. But I would say that nutrition is very important on your planet, and movement, since you are in physical bodies in the three-dimensional world. You must move them. If you are too sedentary, we all know that is not good for you. So, but yes, movement. Do something that you enjoy. Did that answer your question? I can't remember what it was.
Yes, we were just discussing other ways in your planet that would help us down here become more healthy.
Yes. Oh, yes. I said nutrition. I said movement.
Do you recommend eating meat products or go vegetarian?
There are some people who, in their bodies, I am not a doctor. I can only make suggestions, but so I must preface that. There are some people who need meat in their bodies, not a lot, for the protein that it gives their makeup, their genetic makeup, their chemical makeup, and they need that. There are others where they are vegans or vegetarians, as you say, who only eat plants, that it works for their body. There is no one right way. It is of the earth, then it of the earth, then it is good. If it is not of the earth, then not good. Very easy. So I would caution, though, that caveat is that people tune into their bodies. That, again, that is one way to raise your vibration, is to tune into your body and see what feels better. If it feels better for you to eat some meat, then eat some meat. If it does not feel good to eat that, then do not eat that. Eat, listen to your body, for it will tell you what it needs and how it wants to be taken care of. The problem on your planet too is that people ignore their body. They think they're working out, they do this, they do that, but they're not listening to their body, which is always speaking to them.
Do you have sleep on your planet?
No, we do not have sleep. We have rest, but we do not have sleep.
Do you believe it is important for the Earth human to get a certain number of hours of sleep?
Yes. Sleep is very important for the earth human so that they can regenerate, they can heal, they can be ready for the new day. So sleep is something that is very important. Too little or too much, not so good. But if you have moderation, but that is with everything, it is in moderation.
So you, on your planet, you are in a waking state all the time. You're always awake.
Yes, I am consciousness. Consciousness is awake.
And you have resting periods? Do you rest?
Yes, by resting I mean more if I go into physical body, our version of physical body, I can sit and rest, but that is all. But when I am mostly light being, you just you are just consciousness, you are awake, you are there. That's why I can be with her at any time. I'm not she's not bothering me because I am always there.
What do you mean by ascension?
Ascension is moving through the dense material of the earthly plane and moving into the higher frequencies, the higher spiritual heavenly realms.
How do you know when you are raising your vibration?
It can be a tricky thing for some. You raise your vibration when you no longer suffer, when you no longer suffer with the self, when you detach, let go of your ego and move away from it, and you begin to feel love for yourself, and you begin to know that you are the light of the world, as Jesus said. You are the light of the world. And when you begin to feel that and know that, and with no doubt, then that is how you know that you are beginning to raise your vibration.
What are things that humanity can do now to help them raise the vibration?
Humanity must do much in this regard. Humanity must put away their weapons, put away their guns, put away their hatred, put away the things of this world that don't really matter. They must focus in on love for each other and compassion for each other, because the violence that your planet ensues in is quite great, and in doing so they lose their humanity, so they're almost not even human anymore. So for the many who are working on themselves, this is a wonderful thing, and one thing to that we congratulate them on working on themselves. But for others, they're still stuck in this reptilian brain that they don't see the light of their being, and not seeing the light of their being is the destruction of your race.
Do you see the Earth in imminent danger from this kind of mindset?
Yes, yes, it can be, if it so chooses. It can destroy itself. But it is up to those in power to make better choices and to rule with love.
What are the things you think Earth humans can learn most about from the Andromedan culture?
Our capacity to love and nurture our creativity. We are very creative beings. We breathe creativity. We live creativity. We are inspired beings. We feel that your earth plane is too dense in its responsibilities and too caught up in the illusion from all the symbols, money, things you've created, to that you are lost in that space, and that you lose creativity when you are lost in that space. And so we focus on the light of our being and the light in each other, and the feeling of home inside ourselves. We have that all the time. We feel home inside ourselves. You have many people on your planet who are not home inside themselves, and so because they are not home inside themselves, they emit a different frequency. They emit a frequency of anger, hate, and non-love. They do not love themselves, and so that is the dis-ease on your planet, is this non-love for the self. That is your biggest downfall.
And what is the best way to go about changing this? Self-love?
Yes, but it is difficult for those who don't know how to do that. Because how do you love yourself when you don't know how to love yourself, or you've been taught by the world that you can't love yourself? How do you learn that then? Where do you learn it from? Do you have a school on your planet? No. So where do you learn how to do that? Through trial, through error. But there is no school on your planet that speaks of love. There is no school on your planet that teaches your children to love themselves, to listen to themselves, to hear the quiet voice within. On our planet, we do have that. We have set time. We have on our planet a space and a time for beings to create and to just be. Your planet does not have that. It lacks in that. And in that way, again, you have more violence, you have more chaos.
But how did that come to be? How did that come to exist on our planet?
What came to exist on
the way that we are? How did we become this?
You came this way because you have listened to those in power. You have listened to those who create religions. You have listened to those who and not yourselves. And so because you have listened to all of that, you have fallen into the ego. And although your ego serves its purpose, It has a place, but it should not be the whole of your being. The whole of your being is you and your eternal soul. And yet you have fallen prey, your planet, to the trappings of the ego, of fierce and scarcity, lack of love, criticism, shame. You fall prey to that. And your religions do that as well, where they teach that if you do this, then you get this. If you do that, then you are a sinner. You do this. And our planet, that does not exist. You are born perfect. You are born pure. But it's the conditionings of your planet, because people desire power on your planet. They desire greed. They desire money. They desire importance. Loving yourself is different from the egoic love of self. They are two separate things. And so on your planet, the ego takes over, so that the true love for self cannot exist in it.
Is there a point in our history when this really took hold, or has it always been this way from the beginning of mankind?
This dates back to the Atlanteans, for back then is when the power and the greed of the time took over. And so from then, and in your evolution over time and mass migration, but not all of the cultures of your planet have felt that way. There have been indigenous peoples that lived peacefully on the land. Yet there were others who, through their greed and wanting more, they began to take over other people. And so instead of living in love and cooperation, they chose disharmony and hate.
Does this go back at all to the reptilians?
Reptilians have, since back actually to times of Christ and before, they have been to your planet and will continue to come to your planet as long as there are people who, how shall we say, until there are people who have raised their frequency and have raised their consciousness. When you do that, they will not come no longer.
So thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to do that below. And please check out my channeling playlist, where you'll find more channelings from Morenae and the other star beings in my channeled collective called Spirit Song. Until next time, take care and be well.